Well, that was irritating. I just recorded this lesson with my microphone turned off. I almost always check, and this time I didn't. Usually that means this will be a little more streamlined and a little faster. What we did in our last lesson was the top section, the A section of the entertainer, using chromatics. We found out that they most often will be used to go through the flat 3 and the flat 5, the bluesy notes, or include a flat 7, another bluesy note. I used my repeat signs liberally here. The book doesn't use them as much. Where it's repeating the theme, it writes it out a second time and just uses the repeat and first and second ending here, not in the middle of the song. Same thing goes for this section. I'm going to use a repeat sign to go back up, and the book will not. They'll just rewrite it and have first and second ending here. At the end, you'll go back and play through the A section one more time. So in that sense, it's got that Lutheran chorale sound where it's A, B, and A. What's happening in this is we've wrapped up our second time through the first part, landing in ending 2. That's a half note, 2 beats. I've used an 8th note for beat 3, so I can start now this run into B section. We're thinking of a C chord, so we're running from a E note to a G note. That's the 3 and 5 of a C chord. Hitting the F, which is in scale, and an F sharp, a chromatic note, which fills the gap up to the G. You can think of that merely as chromatic, or as probably the second or first most popular way to use a blue note. That bending note or the sliding note that we use in the blues is through that, the flat 5 or the sharp 4. So here we're coming in on and of 3, hitting the chromatics that we learned in our scale, landing on a G, using an upper neighbor tone, the 6 of the chord, the A to come back down to the G. You can think of it as a non-chord tone, but as I just showed, we're so used to the 6 in the chord that it actually could be a chord tone if the chord is a 6. Here's the run again. Syncopation again. We've played the and of 2, but we're tying to 3, so we're not playing on the beat of 3, we're coming into the and of 3. And we're doing the same run again. So that's a nice one to practice. That's basically the theme of at least half of the B section. So we've got our chromatic run to G, our 6 and our G again, then the chromatic run again. Here we land on the chord tone, the 3, the root, and the 5 of a C chord. This is one of the first areas that causes people some consternation in this section. Jumping, first of all, reading that low C and low G. We're not as good at reading ledger lines. We don't practice them enough. I would recommend, if you're having any trouble at all, that you get back to pages 22, 23, 24, etc. in book 1, where we can review how to read the ledger lines on the 5th string and on the 6th string. So that's our G note. One of the reasons it's hard to play as well is we don't really like to move that same finger from one string to another. It's usually not very clean, although you could make it, with practice you can roll. But the best idea there is to play the C with the pinky and the G with the ring finger. That's the way we play C chords when we want alternate bass anyway. So there, and 4, and now we're on an F chord. The first note there is your A, the open 5th string. That's the 3 of the chord, and we're going to run up the scale from there. Do a turnaround on that E note. That's the major 7 note of the chord. And the D's are 6s. Now we're on a C. C and E are the chord tones. And we use the F as a scale tone on our way up to the G. 6 and back down. See how much they're turning around on that 6 in this. Now here we have E to F, and we're back to one of our themes. You can hear how that motif is central to the B section. So here we've done our beginning again. a new run. We're on the G, that's the 5 of the C, so it's a great takeoff point. The 6 that we've been playing, the sharp 6, and then the B. The sharp 6 is A sharp. Again, it's chromatic, it's just filling from the A to the B. To me, I'm going to think of it as the B flat, the 7 of a C chord. It's got that bluesier sound, and it leads us to the B notes, the 3 note of the G chord. And we get heavy syncopation here. We get an 8th note on beat 1, so we're playing on the and of 1. That note is a quarter note. It gets an entire beat, but it was initiated on an and, so it ends on the next and we hit the B again. 1 and 2 and. We're tied onto the beat 3, so we play another and as we arpeggiate the D7 chord. A, F sharp, and D, 5, 3, and 1 of a D chord. That section again then, G, running up to the B. The D7 introduces an F sharp in a manner that's not chromatic. You notice it's sitting there in the arpeggio. That's because D7 is the 5 chord, the secondary dominant of G. It brings the F sharp to resolve to G. Now, as I said, the book continues. We get E, F, F sharp, G. This material is rewritten. I'm just going to say, well, let's repeat it. So we get E, F sharp, E, F, F sharp, and G, back to the top of part 2. Now I don't want to land in ending 1, I want to land on ending 2 with this long C. And we drop down to the 5, do a lower neighbor tone to the F sharp. These are both good examples of why we use the sharps as we do. Here we're ascending, we want to say F to F sharp to G. We wouldn't say F to G flat to G natural and undo that. Here, mentally, we probably are playing G flats. It's probably G, G flat, and G, a 5, a flat 5, and a 5. It's kind of bluesy. But to write it, we'll call it an F sharp so that we're not duplicating our writing, saying G, G with a flat sign, then G with a natural sign. It's more confusing that way. So on the and for and, G, F sharp, G, F chord with a C, 5, 3, 5, then 3, 5, 3 again. So that whole F is just 2 notes, the 3 and the 5 of the chord. Run up our C arpeggio again from the low G, and back down. So we get 3s and 5s on the F. I'm going to have played that with my ring finger. But then I put the ring finger on the 6th string and pinky on that note. D7 again, so I get the 5 and the flat 7 of the D7 chord. Here's a nice little appoggiatura. We've got the A to the C, those are chord tones on D. The 6 again on the G chord, resolving down to the 5, a chord tone. So we leaped or leapt from the C up to the E to resolve to the D, which is a chord tone, land on our C, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Now the book and my writing will tell you to repeat. So that's the whole section. I'll try to keep this to a slower pace that you could practice this with a little bit of work, and I will do it coming from the last bar of the A section. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. I'm using my repeat. repeats again. So that was all my B section. On my picture, I'm using extra repeats. In the Hal Leonard book, they only get you to a repeat there at the end. So why don't we try the entire song here? I won't do the repeats of A and B. I'll just play A, B, and A. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. No repeat, we'll go into B. Again, they're going to repeat that and play one more time through and use the second ending. I've just hit each part once. So let's see if I can do a slow fingerstyle version of this. It's not practiced and it's not going to sound great. And especially there are so many low notes. There's going to be lots of moments where there will be no chords behind those low notes. I'll again avoid doing all the repeats, but let's see if I can get some melody and harmony in there for you to play to. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not good, not bad. We can go with that. Later on, I'm going to use an actual fingerstyle arrangement and show you guys that as well. Have a good one, guys. See you later.